Good evening, everyone. It's an absolute honor to be here today, surrounded by so many inspiring people. As I stand before you, I want to share something that I deeply believe in: the power of a woman's mind. More specifically, how a smart woman thinks differently. When we talk about intelligence, it's easy to fall into the trap of defining it in one way. Society often defines intelligence as logic, strategy, or even academic achievement. But I believe intelligence, particularly the intelligence of a smart woman, goes beyond just these narrow definitions. A smart woman doesn't just think, she thinks differently. She isn't confined by the norms or the boxes that others may try to put her in. She looks at the world around her and sees possibilities where others see limitations. She breaks down the barriers of societal expectations, refusing to let anyone define her worth by outdated standards. She's not afraid to challenge the status quo and ask questions that make people uncomfortable. A smart woman embraces her uniqueness. She knows that her individuality is what makes her strong. She's confident in who she is and isn't afraid to show up fully, without apologizing for her voice, her thoughts, or her dreams. Think about it for a moment. The world we live in today has been shaped by those who dared to think differently. And history has shown us that some of the most powerful changes have been led by women who refused to accept the world as it was. From innovators in technology to leaders in politics, from scientists who discovered the unknown to artists who redefined culture, these women all had one thing in common. They thought differently, and let me tell you, it's not easy. It requires courage, resilience, and the belief that you can pave a new way for those who come after you. It means taking risks, failing, and getting back up with even more determination. But the reward is worth it. Because when a woman thinks differently, she creates. So, to all the smart women out there, don't let anyone tell you that you need to fit into a box. Think differently, dream big, and don't just imagine the world as it could be. Build it. You are the architects of the future, and the world is waiting for you to make your mark. In my journey, I've learned that success isn't just about where you've come from. It's about where you're going and the way you carve out your own path to get there. A smart woman doesn't follow, she leads. She doesn't mimic, she innovates. And most importantly, she doesn't ask for permission to be herself. So, let's keep breaking barriers. Let's keep dreaming big. And let's never forget that the power to change the world lies in the way we think. A smart woman's intelligence goes beyond the traditional boundaries that society often defines. It's easy to associate intelligence with logic, academic achievements, or the ability to follow established rules and systems. However, a truly smart woman doesn't merely fit into these conventional molds. She thrives by thinking differently, innovating, and finding solutions that others may overlook. She uses her intellect in unique ways, tapping into creativity, intuition, and emotional intelligence to approach problems from diverse angles. Her mind is not confined to predefined notions of intelligence, but is expansive, flexible, and willing to break free from expectations. This type of thinking is often viewed as unconventional, and that's precisely what makes it powerful. Society tends to reward conformity, those who can follow the rules and achieve results in expected ways. However, a woman who thinks differently doesn't settle for the easy path. Instead, she challenges herself to look beyond the surface and explore new territories. Whether in business, science, the arts, or politics, women who have redefined success are those who thought outside the box, allowing their intellectual curiosity to lead them to new opportunities and innovations. Their ability to approach challenges with a fresh perspective often leads to breakthroughs that others may never consider because they are trapped in traditional frameworks of thinking. Thinking differently isn't just about rejecting norms, it's about using the full spectrum of one's intellectual capacity. A smart woman doesn't just rely on rationality and logic. She integrates her emotions, experiences, and intuition into the decision-making process. This holistic approach to intelligence allows her to connect the dots in ways that others might miss. She can see patterns, draw insights from diverse fields, and envision outcomes that others couldn't imagine. This ability to see beyond the obvious is what often sets smart women apart. They are not restricted by the limitations of traditional thinking and instead create space for new ideas to flourish. Moreover, Women who think differently bring a sense of diversity to the solutions they offer. Traditional intelligence often focuses on one-dimensional problem solving, but a smart woman considers multiple perspectives, voices, and experiences in her approach. This inclusive mindset allows her to develop more comprehensive and effective solutions that address a wider range of needs. By thinking differently, she opens doors to possibilities that benefit not only herself, but also the communities and industries she's part of. Her intelligence is not defined by the accolades she earns or the titles she holds, but by her ability to think in ways that inspire change, progress, and growth. In a world that's increasingly complex and fast-paced, this ability to think differently is more important than ever. The problems of today require innovative solutions, and these solutions are often the result of thinking that deviates from the traditional. A smart woman recognizes that intelligence is not one size fits all, it's fluid, dynamic, and continuously evolving. She embraces this evolution and doesn't let anyone limit her understanding of what it means to be smart. Her intelligence in all its forms empowers her to make a lasting impact, not by following the established paths, but by creating new ones. In the end, the true power of a smart woman lies in her ability to think differently, to go beyond what's expected, and to trust in her own unique way of processing the world around her. This is where true innovation, change, and transformation begin. A smart woman's intelligence is deeply intertwined with her ability to embrace her uniqueness. In a world that often values conformity and fitting in, a smart woman refuses to shrink herself to meet expectations. Instead, she stands tall in her individuality, fully aware that what sets her apart is her greatest strength. She doesn't apologize for who she is, nor does she attempt to mold herself into someone else's idea of what she should be. This acceptance of self is not just an act of confidence, but a powerful declaration of personal value. It's the understanding that her thoughts, beliefs, and identity are worthy of being expressed without compromise. The journey to embracing one's uniqueness is not always straightforward. Many women face societal pressures to conform to beauty standards, career paths, and behavioral norms. From a young age, girls are often taught to be agreeable, to prioritize others' needs over their own, and to play by the rules. However, a smart woman recognizes that fitting into these molds will never allow her to fully realize her potential. She understands that in order to make her mark, she must stand apart from the crowd, trusting in her unique perspective and voice. Embracing her individuality also means acknowledging her strengths and weaknesses, and using both as tools for growth. A smart woman does not hide her flaws. Instead, she sees them as part of what makes her real and human. She recognizes that vulnerability is a source of power, not a weakness. By accepting herself, including the parts that others might view as imperfections, she opens the door to true self-empowerment. In doing so, she sets an example for others, showing them that they too have the right to be their authentic selves, flaws and all. Her refusal to conform does not mean she is unwilling to learn, adapt, or grow. In fact, embracing her uniqueness makes her more open to self-improvement. She values her individuality because it allows her to approach life with a fresh perspective. She doesn't limit herself to what has been done before or what others expect of her. She trusts in her instincts and her ability to carve her own path. This confidence in her individuality is what enables her to innovate, to dream big, and to achieve things that others may never have imagined. A smart woman knows that the world needs more than just one way of thinking, more than just one type of intelligence, and more than one kind of success. She doesn't try to fit into pre-existing categories or compare herself to others. Instead, she creates her own definition of success based on what feels true to her values, aspirations, and capabilities. She celebrates the diversity within herself and in the world around her, knowing that different perspectives enrich our shared experiences. In a broader sense, embracing one's uniqueness is not just an internal journey but a message to the world. When a woman fully embraces who she is, unapologetically and authentically, she inspires others to do the same. She encourages other women to step into their own power, to celebrate their individuality, and to trust that they too have something valuable to offer. In this way, a smart woman's embrace of her uniqueness creates a ripple effect, encouraging a culture of authenticity, inclusivity, and strength. Ultimately, the ability to embrace one's uniqueness is what empowers a smart woman to thrive. It allows her to push boundaries, challenge norms, and redefine success on her own terms. By standing firmly in her individuality, she becomes a force of change, a symbol of what's possible when we are true to ourselves and unafraid to be different. A smart woman's ability to challenge the status quo is one of the most powerful aspects of her intellect. She doesn't merely accept things as they are or follow the paths that others have laid out for her. Instead, she looks at the world around her with a critical eye, questioning systems, practices, and beliefs that may not serve her or the greater good. This mindset allows her to push boundaries and redefine what is possible, often leading to change that is both transformative and necessary. She recognizes that true progress comes from challenging the norms and thinking beyond what is currently accepted. The act of challenging the status quo isn't always easy. It requires courage, conviction, and a deep belief in one's ability to bring about change. A smart woman understands that not everyone will agree with her or support her ideas, but she doesn't allow that to deter her. Instead of simply going along with the crowd, she dares to question why things are done a certain way and whether there might be a better solution. She isn't afraid of standing out or being seen as unconventional, because she knows that true innovation often comes from those who are willing to be different, to look at things from a fresh perspective, and to take risks that others may shy away from. Challenging the status quo is not just about being rebellious for the sake of rebellion. It's about being intentional in questioning systems or behaviors that limit growth, perpetuate inequality, or fail to serve the needs of all individuals. A smart woman recognizes that there are many layers to the world around her, and by challenging existing norms, she has the potential to uncover hidden truths or untapped possibilities. She sees gaps in opportunities, unfair practices, or outdated methodologies and refuses to accept them as the status quo. Instead, she works toward creating a new narrative, one where innovation, equality, and progress take precedence. In doing so, she often becomes a catalyst for change, not just for herself but for others as well. When a smart woman challenges the status quo, she is often paving the way for others to do the same. Her willingness to stand up for what she believes in encourages others to find their own voice and question the systems that may be holding them back. By defying expectations, she creates space for new ideas and fresh approaches, inspiring a culture of innovation that values creativity, diversity, and inclusion. At times, challenging the status quo means embracing discomfort and uncertainty. A smart woman is not afraid of the unknown because she understands that growth is born from discomfort. She knows that if things always remain the same, there will be no room for advancement. By questioning and challenging the status quo, she takes control of her own narrative and doesn't let circumstances define her. Instead, she shapes her future with a clear vision and the courage to push through the inevitable resistance that comes with change. The impact of a smart woman who challenges the status quo is far-reaching. It isn't just about personal gain or achieving success for herself, it's about creating a ripple effect that can change entire industries, communities, or even cultures. By challenging the way things have always been done, she opens the door for others to think differently, act boldly, and transform their own lives. A smart woman is not afraid to make waves because she understands that those waves often become the currents that drive progress. In a world that often thrives on tradition and convention, the ability of a smart woman to challenge the status quo becomes one of her greatest strengths. It allows her to reshape the future, inspire change, and create a legacy that empowers others to follow in her footsteps. She knows that change is not easy, but she also knows that it is essential for growth and evolution. A smart woman's resilience and courage are central to her ability to think differently and achieve remarkable things. She understands that the path to success is rarely linear. It's full of challenges, setbacks, and moments of self-doubt. But what distinguishes her is her unwavering ability to rise above these obstacles and keep moving forward. Her resilience comes from within. It is a strength born from experience, from learning how to fail and persevere, and from the deep-rooted belief that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. For a smart woman, resilience is not just bouncing back after a fall, but using that fall as a stepping stone toward greater accomplishments. It takes courage to continue in the face of adversity. A smart woman is often faced with situations where she has to stand alone, speak her truth, or make difficult decisions that others might shy away from. It can be easy to succumb to fear, the fear of judgment, failure, or rejection. But a smart woman refuses to be paralyzed by fear. Instead, she faces it head on, understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. This courage doesn't just apply to big decisions. It's reflected in the daily choices she makes to remain true to herself and pursue her goals, regardless of the challenges that may come her way. Resilience also means having the strength to learn from failure and not be discouraged by it. A smart woman doesn't view failure as an end point, but as part of the process. She recognizes that each failure offers valuable lessons, and it's through those lessons that she builds the wisdom to make better decisions in the future. Resilience for her is the ability to adapt and bounce back with even greater determination. When things don't go as planned, she doesn't give up. She reevaluates, recalibrates, and tries again. This adaptability is key to her success, allowing her to navigate through the complexities of life and continue on her journey with renewed purpose. The combination of resilience and courage also means that a smart woman does not shy away from taking risks. She knows that great achievements often require stepping out of her comfort zone. Whether it's pursuing an unconventional career path, speaking out for a cause, or making a difficult personal decision, she is not afraid to take calculated risks. She has learned that the rewards of taking these risks far outweigh the fear of failure. With each risk she takes, she strengthens her capacity to deal with uncertainty and emerges stronger, more confident, and more capable. Moreover, a resilient and courageous woman knows the importance of support, yet she does not rely solely on others for validation. She has learned to trust herself, to believe in her own abilities, and to rely on her inner strength when external support is lacking. Her courage often inspires others to do the same. She becomes a beacon of strength for those around her, showing them that it's possible to face challenges with grace, determination, and a sense of purpose. Resilience also nurtures a growth mindset. A smart woman recognizes that no matter how successful she becomes, there will always be room to grow, to evolve, and to learn new things. She embraces this lifelong journey with enthusiasm and an open heart, knowing that resilience is not just about enduring tough times, but about continually pushing herself to be better, to think differently, and to make a lasting impact. In the end, resilience and courage are two of the greatest qualities that define a smart woman. They are the driving forces behind her ability to persevere, to keep moving forward, and to make a difference in the world. She knows that setbacks will come, but she also knows that her ability to rise from them is what ultimately defines her success. Through resilience, she shapes her own destiny and inspires others to do the same. A smart woman is not someone who follows the crowd or waits for permission to act. She is a leader, not a follower. This leadership is not always about being at the front or holding a title, but it is about taking control of her own narrative, making decisions based on her values, and setting an example for others to follow. A smart woman does not rely on others to dictate her path. Instead, she carves out her own journey, guided by her instincts, passions, and vision. She understands that leadership comes from within and is rooted in self, confidence, integrity, and the ability to inspire others through action, not words. Being a leader also means embracing responsibility. A smart woman recognizes that leadership is not about seeking attention or validation, but about making meaningful contributions and empowering others. She leads by example, not through force or control. Her leadership style is often collaborative, where she brings people together, listens to different perspectives, and works towards solutions that benefit everyone. However, this doesn't mean she compromises her own beliefs or values to fit into what others expect of her. She has the courage to stand firm in her decisions, even when they are unpopular, because she knows that true leadership requires authenticity. Leading, for a smart woman, is also about vision. She sees possibilities where others see limitations. While many people may be content with the status quo, a smart woman looks beyond it, imagining a future that others may not yet believe is possible. She has a unique ability to look at the big picture and create strategies to achieve long-term goals. Her leadership is not about immediate gratification or short-term gains. It's about building something that will last, something that has a lasting impact on the people and the world around her. This leadership is also marked by resilience. A smart woman knows that leadership is not without its challenges. There will be setbacks, criticisms, and times when she will be questioned. But she does not let these challenges deter her. Instead, they serve as fuel for her determination. She leads with a sense of purpose, knowing that the obstacles she faces are part of the process and are there to test her commitment to her vision. This resilience strengthens her leadership because it demonstrates to others that true leaders are those who can persevere and remain focused on their goals despite adversity. Moreover, a smart woman's leadership is rooted in empathy. She understands the importance of connecting with others, of understanding their needs, and of using her position to help those around her grow. Her leadership isn't about proving she's better than others. It's about uplifting those she leads and helping them find their own path. A smart woman knows that leadership is not about creating followers, but about empowering others to become leaders in their own right. She fosters an environment where people feel supported, valued, and encouraged to step into their own potential. Leading is also about learning and growth. A smart woman does not see herself as perfect or infallible. She is constantly evolving, adapting, and learning from the experiences of herself and others. Leadership in her eyes is a journey, not a destination. She is always seeking ways to improve, not just for herself, but for the people she leads. This growth mindset allows her to stay open to new ideas, challenge her own assumptions, and grow into an even more effective leader. Ultimately, a smart woman's ability to lead is defined by her willingness to step into her power and take charge of her life, her decisions, and her impact on the world. She doesn't wait for permission or approval. She understands that leadership isn't about following a prescribed path, but about creating one of her own, one that is aligned with her values, her vision, and her purpose. Through this kind of leadership, she not only transforms herself, but also inspires others to do the same. A smart woman knows that thinking differently isn't just about individual success. It's about creating lasting change that resonates far beyond herself. When a woman thinks differently, she is not simply imagining a better world, she is actively working to create it. Her ideas, fueled by unique perspectives and innovative thinking, have the potential to reshape industries, cultures, and societies. She understands that the power to transform the world lies in the way she thinks, and the actions she takes as a result of that thinking. Through her ability to think outside the box, she opens doors to new possibilities, not just for herself, but for those around her and for future generations. This transformative thinking is rooted in the idea that change starts from within. A smart woman's ability to think differently often stems from her deep understanding of herself and the world around her. She doesn't just accept things as they are, but constantly asks questions, seeks improvement, and challenges the conventional wisdom. She understands that the world is not static. It evolves based on the ideas, actions, and efforts of individuals who are willing to challenge the norm and envision something new. In doing so, she creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond her immediate sphere of influence. Her thoughts and actions inspire others to think differently, act boldly, and push boundaries in their own lives. Furthermore, a smart woman's thinking is often grounded in empathy and inclusivity. She recognizes that the world is made up of diverse experiences and perspectives, and in order to create meaningful change, she must consider the needs and voices of all people. By embracing this diversity of thought, she doesn't just make decisions based on her own experiences, but instead, she fosters an environment where others can thrive and contribute. This inclusivity allows her to think in a more comprehensive and holistic way, ensuring that the changes she advocates for are not only innovative, but also equitable and sustainable. In thinking differently, a smart woman is not afraid to take risks. She knows that true transformation comes with the willingness to step outside of her comfort zone and embrace the unknown. Whether it's launching a new business, advocating for social justice, or pursuing a passion project, She understands that meaningful change rarely happens without taking bold steps. She is not deterred by the possibility of failure, but sees it as an inevitable part of the process, an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. This fearlessness in the face of uncertainty allows her to create new paths and uncover solutions that others may never have considered. The impact of a woman who thinks differently can be profound. Her ideas challenge outdated systems, disrupt harmful norms, and push society to evolve. Whether she's changing the way we think about gender equality, sustainability, or education, her ability to think differently allows her to create lasting change that leaves a positive legacy for future generations. She becomes a role model for others, showing them that they too can use their minds and voices to shape the world around them. Moreover, a smart woman understands that her ability to think differently is not just about making noise, but about creating something of value. It's not enough to simply have unique ideas. She must take action to bring those ideas to life. She doesn't wait for permission or validation from others. She trusts in her vision and works tirelessly to turn her ideas into reality. In doing so, she sets an example for others to follow, encouraging them to think creatively and take action in their own lives. Ultimately, the true power of a smart woman lies in her ability to think differently and use that thinking to create change. Whether in her personal life, her career, or her community, she knows that transformation begins with a single thought, a new perspective, and the courage to take action. She leads not by following in the footsteps of others, but by forging her own path and inspiring those around her to do the same. Through her unique way of thinking, she contributes to a world that is more innovative, inclusive, and forward-thinking. Thank you all.